Good evening. The seats have been booked for this LG Cup final for several weeks, but I don't think many of us in this Guildhall arena would have predicted tonight's final lineup, because this has been one of the most surprising snooker tournaments for many years, with the top seeds tumbling out all week. Scotland's Chris Small has been responsible for taking two very notable scalps, having put out ex-world champions John Higgins and Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan on his way to tonight's final. And this evening, he will face the last remaining seed, world number 15, Alan McManus.
I think Alan's a bit like myself, really. He's a great sort of tactician, and he can score heavily like me as well, but I think Alan relies a lot on his safety play, just like myself.
Chris is a nice lad. I've known him since I was about 15. Playing in junior events, and we've come a long way, both of us, and I know all about his game. He's a fantastic player.
Might have been one of my co-presenters here tonight in this final had Steve Davis, the Nugget, not come up against a man that he described as a lump of granite, Alan McManus, in last night's semi-final. But John Parrott, for one, I'm sure isn't complaining, because at least he's got some company down there in what I'm sure is a very tense and quiet dressing room area.
Yeah, it's great to see. You've been missing all week. What have you been doing?
Well, I've just been having a little game. Yeah, it's been quite nice.
Now, it was nearly you in the final. A great attempt this week.
Yes, but I mean, if somebody had asked me, would you have been settled in for a semi-final place in the first ranking tournament of the season, I'd have obviously bitten their hand off. So, I've had a great week and enjoyed it. But the two players in the final have obviously deserved to be there.
Now, how do you think it's going to go? Obviously going to be both very nervous. How do you think it's going to go this evening?
Yes, the final session is always very nervous. I mean, Chris Boyce is his first final. Alan McManus hasn't been in the final for 2 or 3 years. But what is nice is sometimes you get this situation where players fail to produce when they need to after doing all the hard work. That hasn't happened this afternoon, so I think we're in for a cracking final.
Yeah, I do too, and this will all unfold obviously this evening. But this is the story of the final so far.
Big day for both players. Very good there.
That's the shot of the match so far.
Black though. Wow. Oh, he's played that well. That could be a frame winner.
Chris Small takes the 5th frame, but still trails by 3 frames to 2. Oh!
This could give him a real boost of confidence. Where's the cue ball going? Where's it going? That was always the danger.
The final frame of this session, Alan McManus to break.
Oh, We've got a black ball fight here and a big frame.
Oh. If he loses this match, he'll never forgive himself for that one. Wow. So close
Settle down, please.
to a 5-3 lead. A dramatic finish to a 46-minute frame. Chris Small takes it on the black, and it's 4-all going into this evening's final session.
So here we go in the deciding session of this final. The players just being summoned from their respective dressing rooms. They're now taking the anxious walk backstage and then into this Guildhall arena. For Chris Small, biggest night of the Edinburgh man's entire career. First time he's made it to a major final. Alan McManus, first time he won a ranking final 6 years ago. He's had a long, long wait to be here this evening. Tonight, one of these men will pocket a cheque for £82,500 and will pick up the LG Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, here they come. Will you welcome our finalists, Alan McManus and Chris Small. Beautifully poised at 4 frames each then. First to 9 will win it, so let's get on with it and join Willie Thorne and John Virgo in the commentary box. Good evening to you both.
Good evening, Hazel. Well, that was a tremendous entrance for both players, and we're getting the excitement already. This is our view from the commentary box, and really looking forward to this one. This is a great battle, and also, Willie, I think the most important thing, a great match, because it means so much to both players.
Yes, without a doubt, John. I did the first 4 frames with my colleague Dennis Taylor, where McManus dominated the first 4. You did the next 4 with colleague Clive Everton, where Chris Small got out of jail, I think, really. And in fairness, I think this could be a very, very good match. So Chris Small won the first frame, lost the next 3 to go 3-1 behind. How will he start the evening session?
Well, he went for that red very confidently. That's why he didn't get back to the baulk cushion. And he's left a chance now for Chris Small. And it's always nice if you can knock one of these long reds in early on. Well, he's turning it down. That does surprise me. Is that the sign of things to come, Willie? A no-risk policy.
Yes, I think if it wasn't first frame, Johnny may have had a go at that. But in fairness, you know, that's the way Chris has played all week. You know, he's tried to get what's on and play safe when it's not. And you know, when you consider that against O'Sullivan and Higgins and of course Jimmy Mickey in the semi-final, he won the first 4 frames of each session. But I agree with you. I don't think you can win a tournament being negative all the way through. But Chris Small's in the final. Well, once you've missed the red, you rely on good fortune to whether it goes safe, and it appears to have done just that. I don't think Chris can pop the ball and get onto a colour. There is a gap through the two reds, you can see just above the red there if he takes it on. Here's the miss that we can show you. It's very, very close, this. But once you've got the double kiss, you're relying on good fortune, and he had some. Well, Chris is going to take this on. He'll be going through the gap of the two reds. This is a bit risky for me, John. I don't know whether... Yes, I was going to say I was surprised that Chris, if he didn't take the long red on, I thought that was more dangerous than the long one.
Not a tentative start. Understandable. The last thing you want to do is make any silly mistakes when you sit in that chair, suffering. And of course, when they're playing these type of safety exchanges, it just gives you a chance to settle down, get the cue going through, and of course getting the pace of the table. It's a bit thin on that, was Alan. But of course, that long red that Chris Small refused early on in this frame, if you think your opponent's going to refuse anything that's half difficult, it does take pressure off your safety. And there's a red down the left-hand side. I'm not saying he should take it, but you feel confident that he won't take any risks. That's a better safety shot. Just needed an ounce more pace to get the cue ball tight on the ball cushion, which would have made it difficult. Well, he's just got a slight angle on this to play the pot and maybe run back up the table. Well, once again, having missed the pot, he's lucky to get away with it, and I don't... Well, I'm saying he's got away with it. Maybe he hasn't. To be very accurate with this, and of course the double kiss sent the cue ball careering into the reds, and I don't think he has got away with it. There you see, this red goes. First chance to Chris Small.
One.
Yes, they're the kind of opening chances you like, something quite close to the cue ball where you don't have to really do any work. 2 or 3 loose reds. I think you can hold on the blue for the red without going in and out of balk. Now, if the black pots, he may decide to get onto the black now.
Yes, I don't think you can get on the black in such a way where it would be a straight pot. I think the red to the right of the black is stopping that, but it'd be ideal if you could get the black on the spot available into both corners, it would be. And that's where you make breaks that can win frames. So a bit of work to do to get to that position.
7.
Yes, it's a pity the red just above the black doesn't pot. I could get rid of that and give himself plenty of room for the positional side of the black. It's not straightforward, this, to get onto a red nicely, to get back onto a colour. And that's not the way. It's actually put the black in a worse position.
12.
But we could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to cannon into the black. If he'd have cannoned into that black full, then he'd have developed the black and would probably have been on a red. So he's thinking straight. I think this red may just go into the right centre.
Chris Small, 12.
This match best of 17, so there's a possible 9 frames this evening. But I suppose really it's like a best of 9 now, after them sharing the first 8 frames, as it has been throughout the tournament. Well, that was a bad miss from Alan. And he's gifted another chance to his opponent.
One.
Well, that was nicely played.
5.
Still got the problem, of course, that the black and pink are out of commission. I'm just looking, Willie. That red
6.
immediately be above the black. If that goes in the right corner pocket, if he could play for that, and he's got a nice angle on the blue. There you see, it does the one just to the right of the black. If he can get on that, pot that, he could bring the black into play.
Just travelled a little too far to hold for the black, so it'll be up for blue or bought colour.
11.
But that shot served its purpose, the one that John was suggesting to get rid of, to get the black in open play.
Oh,
Yes, he's just past the straight, so he should be able to get nicely on one of these reds. I'm sure the one, just one up from the black spot will pot as well, so there's a gap there.
Well, I'm not
17.
quite certain what he played on there. May have even played a cannon into the reds, because I can't see any red apart from this one, and I can't believe likely to play for this one. Anyway, he's on it. Not easy. Oh, good pot. Clean as a whistle.
18.
But a good shot required now.
Yes, these reds, as we see Chris pop this one right into the heart of the pocket. The angle he has on the yellow is absolutely perfect, and there's plenty of value here going off the side cushion and into the pink, purely because he's not guaranteed to get onto a red from this positional shot. So I'll be a little surprised if he doesn't go into them from here. Deserves to be on one. Unlucky. Cue ball
20.
came off slightly dead. There wasn't a lot of spin on that to get it to travel a little bit quicker, but he's very unlucky if he's not on a red there. Played the shot really nicely.
Chris Small, 20.
A nice finish. Didn't miss any easy shot. Just run out of position. And that gives you the option then of playing a good safety and keep the pressure on your opponent. And you feel one more mistake from Alan McManus would probably cost him this frame. Chris Small 32 points in front, so if Alan did make a mistake, another 30, 40 points would be more than enough to win this frame. Clever shot. Very clever shot. They call him Angles, McManus. That was your nickname for him, wasn't it, Willie?
I think it's a nickname he got up in Scotland in the clubs. They used to often set positions up in practice where there was, you know, the first one to escape out of this snooker or that snooker, and McManus was always the first one to do it. He's got a very, very good all-round game. John Parrott alluded to in the pre-match interview. He just wonders why he's not won more, and I'm with him along with that. I think him and Ken Doherty are two very, very similar players, where they're good in virtually every department and not magnificent in any, but they're very, very hard match players, and that's there's no reason why Alan shouldn't have won as much as Ken. I think Ken just scores a little more heavier than Alan. He's been a regular member of the top 16 for the last 10 or 12 years. And anybody who wins the Masters at Wembley is a very, very good player.
Yes, and of course we all remember when he won it, he stopped a 6-year winning streak by Stephen Hendry, who everybody thought was unbeatable at the time. That's a poor shot though. Hit it much too thick. The only problem for Chris is a red goes in the left corner, but he's going to be hampered by the blue. I think if the blue wasn't there, he'd be playing this, no problem.
Yes, it's a similar pattern to some of the frames this afternoon. Nothing's got in open play, and there's been a lot of shot to nothings played. Another example of that here, where he's playing the red, and if it goes in, fine. If it doesn't, he's got a good white. It's a prime example of a shot to nothing, that.
Anyway, he's in control of things at the moment. Another testing safety shot for Alan McManus. This time he did catch it at the right thickness and got the cue ball nicely back to the balk end.
On reflection, John, I think while there's a little bit of a stalemate in play, it's been quite a strange tournament and a very, very good one in the fact that a lot of new faces have got towards the latter stages. People were not expecting this final. Both players were, I think Alan McManus was 80 to 1 at the start and Chris Small 200 to 1, so they weren't expected to get to the final. But I think in fairness, Chris Small has played the best snooker this week and deserved to get there, and Alan has just battled his way through.
Well, absolutely. I think the pick on the form this week is certainly Chris Small. I mean, Alan McManus looked on his way out against Stephen Lee when he was 4-3 behind and was in the snooker's required stage. And Stephen Lee went for a pot on the yellow, got a double kiss, went in off, and Alan finished up winning that and winning the match. So I suppose you could say, not lucky to be here, but he got here because somebody made a mistake, not his own play. And he's made a mistake there because this red it was close to the pot, it stayed near the pocket. Now if you can pot this and get on the pink, chance to win the frame.
One.
Played it perfectly. Just going back briefly on that, I commentated on Chris Small in his matches against John Higgins and Ronnie O'Sullivan, and of course this is the nature of snooker. The fact that when the other man's at the table, it doesn't matter who you are, be you Ronnie O'Sullivan, world number 1, John Higgins, world number 4,
7.
there's nothing you can do. And he absolutely outplayed the pair of them. Played the best snooker of his life.
Eight.
One has to say that he's not quite reached those heights. He didn't in the semi-final against Jimmy Mickey, and he hasn't so far in this match. But that's what he's capable of if he gets a run going. And I was a little bit surprised that he started second favourite for this match.
15.
Still a bit to do here, but he's nicely on this red. It's the right corner, black to follow. There's work to do before he can say the frame's at his mercy, but he's certainly favourite to take it.
$16. $23.
This is the key shot because clearly we'll open the red into the corner should he pot this red. He's bound to be on the black. Just got to be careful of the near jaw. It's okay. So always dropping off that far jaw when you play them slow, not necessarily off the near jaw. Thought for a second he'd missed it, but the pace just took it in the pocket. Very close now to the winning post, black and red. Will be fine.
Nice positional shot, nicely on the red, to go
31.
64 ahead with only 59 remaining.
$32.
Well, there's a turnaround here. The last frame of this afternoon session, he looked certain to go 5-3 behind to Chris Small. He managed to level at 4 each. And now be certain to go 5-4 ahead.
39.
And the perfect first
40.
frame, well, he's hardly put a foot wrong. Good safety. Scored when he got in, just run out of position. You've got to say, he's played this frame a lot better than Alan McManus.
Yes, I think for the people who've been used to the attacking players winning tournaments over the last few years would have wondered why he refused a couple of shots, but
47.
he needed to settle down this first frame. He knows it would hurt McManus greatly losing this first frame, having, as you
48.
rightly say, looked like going 5-3 ahead. And this is a real, kick in the spine for Alan McManus. He knows now that he's behind for only the second time in the match. He lost the opening frame of today's
55.
session, and he's lost the opening frame of the evening session.
56.
He'll have a problem getting on the last red, which is near the top cushion, off the black, which is why he's playing the pink. Good pot. It's nice to play
62.
well, particularly in the first frame, and you've got a big crowd as we've got here for this final. You've settled down, you've shown the crowd that you can play.
Chris Moore, 62 and the frame.
And that's enough. Alan McManus concedes. Chris Small takes the lead. 5 frames to 4.
Yes, was 4-2 down, now 5-4 in front. We'll nip out just momentarily because you've been chatting to us all week via email. It's been great to get your thoughts, opinions and comments. And if there's anything that you'd like to ask or even to tell the lads tonight here in the studio, then I think you know the address by now. It's snooker@bbc.co.uk. Please get in touch with us, and you can text any comments or opinions as well, messages of support even for tonight's players. You can express them via your mobile phone on 81222. Start your message, please, with the word snooker. You send them, and we will stick them up on the screen for you. Right, without any further ado, back into the arena. Rejoin Willie and John for frame 10.
Yes, and in fairness, I think frame 10 is almost the most important frame in this match for Alan McManus. We've mentioned the fact in commentary and in studio, the fact that he could have gone 5-3 in front and maybe should have gone 5-3 in front. I think the fact that he could be facing a two-frame deficit for the first time should Chris Small win this game. I think that'll settle Chris Small very quickly and may make Alan McManus a little edgy. 10 or 15 minutes time. There's the auditorium of the Guildhall Preston.
The 10th frame.
Both John and I
Alan
have
McManus
had
to
many,
bet.
many happy years playing here in front of this Preston. Very knowledgeable audience here in Preston. Been playing here now for some, I think, 16, 17 years we've been playing tournaments in Preston. Great venue. One of my favourites, John. I don't know about yours.
Well, my greatest triumph was here, the 1979 UK Championship. And every time I come back to Preston, I get a little, well, thing at the back of my hair, stands up a little bit. It's a superb venue, and as you say, very, very knowledgeable. They really are.
McManus could definitely play this shot into the yellow pocket by just running through. Playing for baulk colour as well. The only red he can leave on is the one he's going for. There's the perfect camera angle. We'll know before Alan whether this is in, and it's not. And this is a very, very shaky start, as it was this afternoon in the first frame and a half. This is exactly how he started the match, Alan McManus. First frame and a half, missing balls by a long way, losing position. Chris thinking of potting this red and screwing across to cannon into the red to the right of the black? Looks a bit tough from here, that one.
Well, he could play it that way, or he could come off the top cushion and cannon that red to the left of the black. Looks as though he's digging in to the cue ball. Well, that's unlucky. That is really unlucky. Let's have a look at it again. Obviously he's played to hit the second red full. But if that red had just run past the black and not disturbed it, it'd have been on the black. As it is, on nothing. Good pot as well.
Green ball. Chris Small, 1.
So far, McManus yet to pot a ball this evening. 2 reasons for that. He's missed a couple of half chances, but Chris Small's safety has been superb. Whereas Alan McManus's has not. Always a little unlucky, I feel, when you catch the jaws on that shot. It's always on, but you're only hitting kind of about an inch. You've got kind of 12 feet of cushion there and an inch to hit the jaw, so you're a little bit unfortunate to hit it. If you could never really know that's going to happen, you played him behind the brown, the jaw. Let's give Chris Small another chance, and he can bring the black into play here.
He's having a luck. It's obviously always risky when you pot a ball and run into others. You're not certain what's going to happen. But he's got to try to bring the black in the open. But he could play a screw shot, play a lot of pace. He might be able to screw off that red and the black and go up the table towards the blue. Bring the black into play, but not rely totally on being on the black. Depends how he sees it. Well, he saw it perfect. Couldn't have played it better. Just nudged the black. What a chance.
Eight.
Well, if he's come too straight on this red, that was a little bit careless. The black's only available into the right corner pocket.
Nine.
Well, he can just about made an angle there, but he's a lot thinner on this black than he would have liked.
Now that's more like it. That is attacking snooker.
16.
This is the kind of shots I enjoy watching players play, playing shots to mature the reds, knowing that you're bound to be on a red regardless of the kiss. And that couldn't have worked out better. Good chance to go 2 in front for the first time in the match.
17.
And we were talking earlier about his form in earlier matches, and these were the type of situations where he was winning frames. And this is a tremendous opportunity. Black available into both corners, or it will be. Having potted that, play for the red just above it. Clears the black spot area.
24.
Couldn't ask for a better chance than this.
The red at the bottom of that cluster of 3 will pot in the right-hand corner, so he might play a little cannon here to the red just to the left of the pink. He'll only do that just to hold the cue ball. He's not got to play it, because even if he misses the kiss, he'll still be on the outside red. That's the red you see, just playing the little cannon. The important shots, and people watching at home, when you're practicing, play those little cannons and things, because they keep the white under control. You're not losing the white, not letting it drift away from you. The break goes to 40.
41.
One can see another 3 or 4 reds that are available without too many problems, and this will be a perfect opportunity for Chris Small to win the frame now at this visit. Well, the pink obviously safe, so doesn't want to be dead straight
46.
on this. Alan McManus can only sit and watch and hope that when Chris plays a power shot, as he appears to have left himself now. Oh no, he could go through for the black. Depends how he fancies the shot. Yes, good example
47.
of the sun run through. That's where the white stops dead and then just drifts forward. One of the toughest shots to play, that.
Yes, and I think he'd have been a bit happier if he'd have just run through another 2 or 3 inches. Slightly hampered by that red. Just enough to make him miss it.
Chris Small, 47.
How costly could that be? Well, I have to say, there's nothing easy to go at. I thought Alan may be able to pot that red near the left corner, but he's not even looking at it. He's looking at a safety shot. Not the best safety shot from Alan. Now 1 good pot, and it could be end of frame. This red into the left corner. There you see it passes the one near the pocket. If he can stroke this in, the black's near the opposite corner. Well, there may be a red on the other corner pocket. Whatever, 1 good pot, and it should be a frame winner. Just a fraction too thick. We've just gone past the black, obviously. Although, by the looks of that, there wasn't a lot of room. But he played it in such a way that the only red he was playing, he thought he could leave. And that's the case.
There's a little bit of applause there. Yes, good weight on the cue ball, but Alan McManus is 48 points behind. The pink is safe, and in playing the shot the way he did, he's now put the black out of the game for a moment. And when you're 48 behind, you need those big colours in the open. Chris maybe just playing to just leave the white at this end of the table to force Alan into bringing reds into play. Doesn't want the double kiss. That's careless. That is careless.
Oh. He's really out of sorts so far this evening, Alan McManus. I mean, he's so close to the reds to catch the jaw of the middle pocket. Well, I know he wanted to play that to release the pink, but you've got to catch it thinner than that. And now, well, as he had the last time he came to the table, or the time before. Pots the red, wins the frame, surely.
One.
And he didn't have to work hard for these chances, will he, did he?
Yes, good pot this. He knew that he would be leaving things on should he miss it, but decided to go all out for the pot. As you rightly say, it's not Chris Small that is forcing the mistake, it's Alan McManus not getting the safety. It has to be said though, Chris Small I think has played perfect snooker in these first two games. Okay, we haven't seen the big breaks and that, but what we have seen is get what's there, play a good safety, put your opponent under pressure, keep them off the table. And I think that's important here for Chris. Alan McManus is yet to pot a ball this evening. So if he can just make 30 or 40 points here, Alan McManus will probably concede. So this evening's session has been going on for 45 minutes. Of course, McManus is yet to pot one.
8.
Those two reds in the middle of the table. I think the left-hand one will go in the same pocket as the pink. Just played that nicely. Only needs the red.
14.
Snooker's required, and it's hard to see Alan McManus coming back to the table in this frame. You expect him to pot blue, red, pink, which I think will be enough to make McManus concede. Won't concede by the players at the table, of course.
Yes, that's always been an unwritten rule at snooker. You only concede when your opponent misses.
27.
That, I'm sure, is the end of frame, and yes, it is, without doing too much. No big break from Chris Small, but the 47 was enough to take Chris Small 2 clear for the first time in this match.
Well, he's beginning to play as we know he's been playing the last week, boys, but how much do you think his efforts in the first session were due to nerves? It is his first major final for Chris.
I don't think it was so much down to nerves, really, Hazel. I think so much that Alan sort of played the better of the two to lead 4-2. And then, of course, could have gone 5-3, but it's gone 4 each. And the interval, as we've seen in many, many matches before, and will do in the future, can change it round. And Chris has started the better this evening. Alan not potted a ball.
Yes, 45 minutes we're counting, but you and I were just discussing the fact that he didn't pot a ball for 57 minutes last night against Mr. Davis, and he still won. On a serious point of view, how difficult is it to sit in your chair and have to watch what's going on and then get back in and immediately have your eye in?
Well, it can destroy your rhythm, and it's not so much confidence, you just get out of the habit of potting the balls. But it has crossed my mind that Alan McManus is in the final without really hitting any type of form. He's played his B game, which we know is excellent. He is able to win playing, not badly, but playing average stuff. And I'm not too sure that Alan is in form. I'm saying that he beat me in the last round, but he's a great grafter. He knows that he's way around a table superbly, but I'm not so sure that the player who's actually starting to come to the forefront in this match, and it's obviously he's won the first 2 frames, the bloke in form is Chris Small.
Well, yeah, we were just totting up some of the frames that Chris Small has conceded in the last week. He's conceded 4 today, and that is as many as he's conceded in the last 3 matches against Jimmy Mickey in the semi, and before that, Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan and John Higgins. So he really has been one of the outstanding players this week, John.
Yeah, he has. And the session with John Higgins, in particular, was the best anybody's played, bar none. He done all right against Ronnie. He did what he had to, a couple of good 70 breaks when he needed to, and he was the more solid of the 2 players. But the session with John Higgins was fantastic.
This is all the more remarkable because many of you have been asking us via email and text about the situation with Chris's health. Now, the situation is that he has a spinal disease. It's called ankylosing spondylitis. He's having injections every month, pain-killing injections, to enable him to play. And frankly, it's a hugely brave effort that he's here at all, because this time last year, he was on the point of retiring from the sport altogether, Steve.
Yes, I mean, we can't really say as to how much pain he's in on the shot, but I mean, even to be with any discomfort when you play has turned around matches, and people have complained about stiff necks and all types of things, you know, even like ingrowing toenail and things like that. So, you know, he's sort of withstood the pressures of having an illness and still come to the forefront.
Well, he's ahead in this final, but John Dwergel in the commentary box was just reminiscing about his best moment, really, 1979, and the boys and I were just chatting about it. This is what he looked like in the days when big hair was big in fashion, JV. You were recalling 1979 when you beat Terry Griffiths, I think it was, in the UK Championship final, but the lads were telling me that you were actually docked 2 frames at the start for turning up late. Why were you late?
Well, those days it used to take Terry so long to break off, I thought I wouldn't be needed for the first half hour.
Lovely hairstyle, I may say, John.
And Willie is a judge of hairstyles, believe me.
So better safety shot from McManus, applauded by the Guildhall audience.
Well, he's still not settled. He's not scored a point. and he wouldn't get any points really for his safety play at the moment. Every time he seems to play one of those thinnish contacts, he catches it too thick. Another easy opportunity for Chris Small to get his hand on the table and go at a pot. First to 9, remember, wins this match.
One.
Couldn't have hit it better. We've really got into the cue ball well there, and the white, you'll see there, a little bit of side, spun down towards the yellow, nicely on the blue. Now, will the red pot next to the black? That's the one he'd like to get onto if it does pot. It looks a bit tight from the commentary position. We'll let you know very shortly whether it does go. Yes, it does. Well, there's not a lot of room through that little gap there, so he may decide to play on one of the open reds first. But that'll be his aim, to get the blue on its spot and then, of course, drop on that red at some stage. That's a great shot, because he clears the black pocket here, and we know the black pot's good chance once again for Chris Small.
6.
Nearly let the cue ball run away, but he's nicely on the black, and of course the red just above the black is the one he's playing for next. You know, there's a lot of talk
14.
his first final, and I think that's why they made Alan McManus favourite, because of his experience, the fact he's won tournaments. This is Chris's first go at a final, and maybe Alan McManus did let him off the hook this afternoon. Alan McManus was 4-2 in front, looked as though he was going to go 5-3 in front. Chris hung on in there, really. And it's as though now, Willie, he's settled into the match. He's come out this evening and looks a different player.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, John. I think this is the most confident he's looked throughout the match, and you would expect him to have taken a little bit of time in the first couple of frames of the afternoon session to settle. But as the afternoon went on, I think he'll be delighted to have got out 4-4, because he didn't play anything like we know he can play. At least this evening he's showing how he's got to the final, because he's just not making any mistakes. Okay, sometimes his position's not as good as some players, but when he does lose position, he plays a good safety. He's playing perfect match play snooker.
22. Chris Small,
One of the
22.
first times, well, the only time this evening he's missed when he was in. It was awkward queuing and playing it at that pace. And up until then, it was 198 points he scored without reply. Now this is a nice easy starter for Alan McManus. What can he make of this chance?
1.
It's been kept off the table for quite some time.
And that was the amazing thing there, the awareness of the Guildhall audience, realised that was Alan McManus' first pot of the night. A round of applause for a red that I think even you might have got, JV.
Well, that's a poor shot. And that's the problem
8.
when you've been frozen out, so to speak. He probably was concentrating so much on the pot on the black, he's under-hit the position. That's not the red he played for.
Alan McManus,
Oh,
8.
he didn't get in the jaws with it. Okay, he's finished up in the balk end. left nothing easy, but from a chance like that, he'll be disappointed to have only scored 8 points. Look at this. Didn't get anywhere near the jaws. If you didn't know better, you'd think he was playing safe off it. Well, he didn't fancy the safety. He went all out for the pot. Oh, and that red may have come to his rescue. That red has gone all round the table and covered the easiest pot that Alan McManus had. And it's not gone into a plant. He's looking at the possibility of making it, but boy, that'd be risky. It certainly wouldn't be a shot for nothing. Well, he didn't play it as a shot for nothing. So I thought Chris Small had a little bit of luck, that red coming round the table, but as it happens, Alan McManus made full use of it.
This is very, very worrying
Alan
times
McManus,
now for
one.
McManus and the fans of Alan McManus, because he literally has not settled. He's what we call in the trade under the cosh. You miss anything when you're under pressure. He's beginning to kind of look a little bit perplexed. And who can blame him? He's not anywhere near the form he showed earlier on in the tournament. Is Chris Small going to punish him? I think so.
Six.
Straighter on this red. He'd have rolled it in, been on the black. He's not got the right angle. He's got the red to the left centre. Of course, if he's struggling for a colour, there's always the brown over the corner pocket. But you'd like to keep that there for emergencies.
Seven.
Not quite able playing plain ball to get the right angle on the blue. But there's a red in the middle of the table, so it doesn't have to do a lot with a cue ball. Just leave this red, what is about 3 feet away from it.
12.
Not certain how he is on this red. If he's straight, he can play the stun run through. He's just off straight. Now, if this was in practice, he'd pot this and run round off 2 cushions for the black. It's a little bit more difficult when the heat's on. Because if you don't get a nice contact and push the cue through nice and smooth, then this shot can go wrong. the shot you'd play normally. It's the right shot, run round off 2 cushions. Well, there you go. That's what he played, and he got a very heavy contact. Now, you can see this. Watch them when they hit one another. They jump. People, though, do have a theory. When you're putting a lot of top on the cue ball, and you just don't hit it sweet, you get the cue ball bouncing. So when it hits the object ball, it is not on the bed of the table.
Well, I'd have to agree with you there, John, and if you look at people like O'Sullivan and Hendry when they play with topspin, they hit right on the top of the ball. We'll get you another chance to show you the red that Chris Small just played, because I honestly don't think he hit high enough on the white, and sometimes, like you were just saying, John, you can generate your own kick.
17.
And look at the shot he's playing here now. For me, he's not hitting that high on that cue ball. He's almost playing it like a stun run through, which means he's having to hit the white ball harder. If you watch O'Sullivan, Hendry, Mark Williams, when they play with topspin, they hit right at the top of the ball, almost at like what we can say 12 o'clock. He seemed to be hitting it at kind of, you know, half an inch below that, and that's why he got a bad contact.
Yes, I don't think... I agree with you. I don't think all kicks are the cause of the conditions. It's sometime when you've not actually cued it as well as you might have done. Anyway, whatever the reason, it's now end of break. He potted the brown that was his reserve over the corner, but was unable to get position. And I don't think there's anything will go in the left corner.
Chris Small, 17.
Another mistake from Alan McManus. Just can't get it safe. And when he gets in, he's missing. But you've got to take advantage, because it might not last forever.
One.
Well, he's done well there. He's come round off the jaws of the pocket, brought the cue ball away. There's a little bit of pressure on this black, but the reason I fancy he can get in it, he doesn't have to do anything. He's got a nice angle on the black. Pot the black. The natural angle will probably take him into a cannon with the pink and the red next to it, which would leave him a red on comfortably. Well, he's striking low. Well, I couldn't have played it like that. I'd have had to fully commit to the pot, plain ball.
Yes, the reason I agree with you there, John, is purely because at least you've got the chance for the black to go in off the jaws, playing the stun shot, and if it doesn't go in the middle of the pocket, you're not going to pot it. Playing the roll through, as you rightly say, they were doing a natural angle into red and pink, takes all the pressure off it, makes the pocket bigger because of the pace you're playing at.
One.
Anyway, he's not missed much when he's been in Chris Small. In actual fact, twice in this frame. Alan McManus didn't take advantage of his first mistake. He desperately needs to take advantage of this. Well, the pink spot not available. Highest available is the black.
7.
Don't know whether it ties up the pink. The black may still be possible. He's got an angle just to stun across for the black in the same pocket.
8.
Well, I'll suggest the pink goes as well, playing it like that.
Yes, ideally he'd like it to be the black. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter, of course, because the pink will go onto the pink spot, so he clears the red, so it doesn't matter which one. I was forgetting the red is away from the pink spot now, so pink or black. Pink maybe doesn't pot. Not played that great, because the pink won't pot in the left-hand corner, so he's going to have to go off either 1 or 2 cushions for the black in the middle pocket. And we've seen how tight these pockets are when you're playing at pace.
16.
Yeah, it's a fair point, that, Willie. I went out in the in between the sessions, and I was stood round the table. And of course, I don't play on these tables anymore. Oh, would you believe it?
Alan
What a
McManus,
mistake.
16.
And I was just going to make the point, I play mainly in exhibitions where the pockets are a little bit easier, but I looked at these pockets on these tables. I know we get a lot of people asking, are they bigger than club tables? Believe me, you want to have a close look at these pockets. I sometimes wonder how they pot them down the cushion. But Alan McManus, that miss could have cost him the 3rd frame of this evening.
Yes, ideally, Chris would certainly like to get onto the pink to free the red that's next to the pink, so if you can just roll this in plain ball, doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball. Of course, now the pink will go onto the pink spot, the red becomes available. 16, 22, 23. Yes, he can leave an angle now on this next red to be able to bring the red into play. And with the pink being on its spot, there's lots of value in playing this. He's just coming around now to have a look at the angle he'll need on the red, because that is definitely the way to play this shot. Spot the pink, angle on the red to move the other red off the cushion.
Well, he used all the pocket there, didn't he?
7.
Still needs the 2 remaining reds, so not a formality. He needs a good angle off this red on the colour. There you see, 22 ahead, 43 remaining. The 2 reds required. This the easy one.
8.
That's why this shot would have been right to play for the angle on the red to move the red, because he's only got 1 chance playing this way to get an angle on the colour. If he's dead straight on the black, he's got no shot. He'll have to either be playing a double or playing safe.
Well, because he only needs the red, if he rolls the black in, and he's looking now, just play the pot. I mean, it's a risky pot, but because the red would be frame ball, I wouldn't mind taking it on.
You just said you can't put them down the cushion.
Well, they're tight, but if it's going to win a frame, I think
15.
they're worth the risk. If you hit them precisely, they'll go in. But he tried to nudge the red, and now this is one of the most difficult shots you can play. It's what we call into a blind pocket. No.
Chris Small, 15.
So, Alan McManus has been given a chance. Under normal circumstances, the chance that Chris Small has left, you'd fancy Alan to clear up. But on what we've seen so far this evening, he'll have it all to do. But what a difference this could make now to the match.
And he hasn't played that shot great. It certainly helps that the brown's not on its spot, because he can pot the blue, go right over the brown spot, back over the brown spot nicely on the yellow. But this is thinner than he wanted it to be. He might kiss the green if he's got side on. Oh, nearly. Should win now.
6. 8.
Alan McManus was looking for a little bit of inspiration. He couldn't get it off his own back. He's been given it by Chris Small, missing that awkward last red.
11.
But I wouldn't count my chickens yet, because as I say, when you're struggling, this game doesn't get any easier.
15.
Yes, Chris may live to regret not moving the red off the red, because he's playing that pot into a blind pocket. It's just a case where this comes far enough off the cushion to be on the pink, and it's
20.
absolutely perfect. If ever something needed to happen to settle a player down, what you've just seen is just the recipe for that.
$26.
It's there. Chris Small handed Alan McManus a lifeline. He grabbed it with 2 hands. He pulled it back just 1 frame behind. 6-5.
And as the boys were saying, that could indeed be significant, just 1 frame in it now. And in fact, we were talking during that frame, lads, about a difference that the 24 hours can make, because Alan did not seem to be in the groove in this second session compared with last night.
Well, he played him last night. What did you expect? I mean, it's 4.5 hours, and that was only 1 frame.
But seriously, do you think mental tiredness can play a part at this late stage?
Very much so. Funny enough, Steve, because he lost, sorry old chap, you get up the next day and you feel terrible. And, you know, just the fact that you've won can keep you going for a while. But, you know, if you have had a match like that, it can be very tiring.
How are you feeling?
Well, I'm okay now. It's fascinating to watch it unfold. Obviously, the players are on automatic pilot to an extent. They're through to the final stages. Alan McManus may not be in form, but he's proven that under pressure he can still clear the balls, and he's hanging on in there because of that fact. He is great under pressure, and the resolve he's showing is marvellous. He's got to up his pace somehow. Now, that may be the problem for him. Otherwise, it could go all the way. OK, well, we have had an email in from John in Blackpool. Hi, John, who has been asking us about Alan McManus's cue. He says, is that a cue that Alan is using an old 2-piece or a 1-piece? John, I think you've got the answer to that one.
Well, actually, I think it's a cue his mother bought him. It's from a sports shop somewhere in Scotland. And it isn't the most expensive cue you've ever seen. You can have a look there.
Machine made that.
Yeah, machine made with the splice in it. It's also got an old wooden joint in the thread, which I think was going, and what Alan did was he's actually glued that. So that is a 2-piece cue that is now glued up into a 1-piece cue.
It's a Blue Peter cue, isn't it?
Yeah.
What he made earlier.
Yeah, and he carries it everywhere in a 1-piece case with green and white stripes because he's the biggest Celtic fan.
It is a real question of individual preference. How much would a top-end cue cost you?
Well, you could pay £500–600 for a snooker cue. Not as much as for pool cues, but you could pay a lot of money for a handcrafted cue that is made to measure and made to order exactly to the dimensions you want. But, you know, you still, if you pick something up and you like it, that can also work.
You've been a professional, what, 24, 25 years now? You're still using the same ones?
I am at the moment, yes. I've gone back to the cue that I sort of originally played with, but I've had a number of cues over the years, and it's a case of getting used to it. What you want is really to play with the cue that perhaps you started off, and that's the characteristics that you've become used to. So if you start changing dramatically, saying, oh, I think I need a thicker diameter tip to the end of it, or I want a thicker butt, or something like that, you may think you want something that's different, but actually it's probably you're more used to what you started off with. So Alan's quite right to play with the cue he's always played with. OK, well, he's just come back into the arena, so let's take you back out to this LG Cup final.
12.
It's the last frame of this part of the final before we have the mid-session interval.
And what a big one it is too, as you've clearly seen if you've been watching the match live here on BBC, that the first 3 frames, Alan McManus was not in any of them, and how he managed to clear up there, I really don't know, but he held himself together. It was because of Chris Moore's mistake rather than Alan McManus's good play. He took a little comfort break there just to gather his thoughts. You can see he's still kind of shrugging his shoulders and trying to get he's just not involved in the match. Look, he's trying to breathe and trying to get with it. He's just trying to psych himself up. He needs to improve, otherwise I don't think he can win this match. He really is struggling.
One.
Nice opening red from Chris Small. It is remarkable though. How many times do we see that red left on? You'd think the players would work out another break-off shot but didn't leave that opportunity, wouldn't you, Willie?
Yeah, in fairness, that was a slightly harder red than it's been left most of the week, John, isn't it? The three-quarter ball red's been left nearly 9 times out of over 10 breaks. It is amazing, really. The other alternative, I suppose, is playing the break the other way around, but I suppose you play the way you practice.
5.
He's played a good positional shot there, Chris Small. Pot this red to the left of the black. Clears the black spot area.
Six.
Nice angle on the blue. Well, packed house for this final. Maybe not the two people they expected to see in the final. But I don't care who's in the final, there's always something special about it. Chris Small,
11.
never been in a final. And Alan McManus has been in a few, not won as many as he would have liked, and that's what they're playing for. I know there's £82,500 for the winner, but that's what you want, the trophy, and to go down in the record books. It doesn't go in the record books how much you win.
12.
I mean, I think when we were talking earlier, when I won the UK Championship here in 1979, £4,500 it was for the winner. I didn't give it away, I kept it, but it wasn't the money that mattered.
Didn't realise they were still playing for pounds in those days, John.
19.
It's the LG Cup they're
20.
playing for, and their second year in sponsorship. They also sponsor the best football team in the world. Not Manchester United, John, Leicester City.
I was just thinking, well, with the
27.
prize money on offer here, maybe the winner could buy Leicester City Football Club.
Low blow.